it's me. Just want to start this video by saying I suck. I suck at making videos. Like, I can't remember the last time I made one. It might have been in October. No, wait, it was November. But still, it's like 3 months now. That doesn't excuse it. So, new year, new Scarlet Lion channel, 2016, Scarlet Lion 2K16. We're just going to be better at making videos. That's what this year is all about. Just more videos, better videos. I promised a lot of stuff last year that didn't happen. But those videos are definitely going to happen this year. Seeing as it's 2016 and we're getting to the end of January now, we've kind of got a taste of the year to come. And I quite like 2016 so far. But there's still a lot of great stuff to look forward to. So in this video, I'm going to take you through 5 hot tips for 2016 in music, TV shows and films. So 5 hot tips for 3 categories. Let's go. Hot tip number 5 is the Dirty Youth. They're on my hot tips list because while I don't know if there is going to be an album release or a tour or anything, I do know that they are working on a Pledge Music campaign to do their 3rd tour documentary DVD, which is called Star Tours. I went to see them on this tour that they're just finishing up round about now, and they were only support, and I went to see specifically for them, and they kicked ass. They were the best. And then I went to the merch room. I waited for 3 hours to meet them. I didn't even watch the other 2 bands. I met Danny and Leon for a second time. Lovely, lovely, lovely people. I was so excited to meet them. Like, ridiculously excited. In 2016, they're hopefully, if they reach their goal, going to release a tour documentary, Star Tours, sorry. They're going to release a DVD tour documentary about this tour they've just been on with Alien Ant Farm and In Me. Also, I have no idea if they're making a new album, but when I went to see them live, they did a completely new song. I think it's called Hurricane, and it absolutely slayed. And also, if you look on all the stuff you can get if you donate for the Star Tours documentary, at the very bottom, it's a chance to have your name put in a song. So that also, it gives us ideas that they might be writing another song. Also, last year they released an acoustic song on their YouTube channel as well. So that's at least 3 new songs that they've released or have been working on. So hopefully, will there be another CD this year? Not sure, but there will be a DVD if we all donate. Hot tip number 4. My hot tip for the 4th one is going to be one of my very favourite bands, Tonight Alive. They are fantastic and they are bringing a new album out on March 4th, I believe. There's a lot of talk on message boards and on Facebook about all the new directions they're taking with the different songs they've released so far. They're all quite different from each other. And some people don't like others, and some people like different ones. Some people don't like any of it, and they've really taken a new direction. But from what I've heard, I'm very excited for this new album. So they've got a new CD coming out. They're touring the UK in around February time, I believe. Sadly, not in Sheffield, even though I specifically told them to. Ugh. Infuriating. But anyway, they are fantastic. And I'm sure whatever else is on the CD is going to be great. Just, it's going to be very different from the first 2 records, but just give it a chance. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Hot tip number 3, Paramore. Paramore are going to be ones to keep your eyes on because sadly in December, Jeremy Davis left the band. So now it's just Hayley and Taylor York. And they're writing an album, and anything could happen, I think. When Josh and Zach Farrow left, they came out with this brilliant record that was wildly different from the other 3, but still essentially Paramore and still amazing. So now that Jeremy's left, who knows what they could come out with. I think they're going to still stay really strong, and they're just going to kick butt. I mean, they've just started writing now, so it could be 2017 before we hear anything new, but fingers crossed that it's 2016. Hot tip number 2. My second music hot tip is going to be Julia Pierce. For those of you who don't know, Julia Pierce started a band when she was about 11 years old called Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb were amazing, and sadly, due to creative differences or lots of other things that have been debated over the years, just something happened and Julia left or was kicked out, who knows, but she left her own band essentially. So they've gone on to become Hey Violet now, and Julia's on her own. But at the tail end of last year and in early January, she started posting a lot online, and then this picture emerged that shows Julia in the studio, and Julia has specifically said she is recording, she is going into the studio, and she is writing. Again, and especially because she's solo and she's on her own, who knows if and when new music will be released. Fingers crossed once again that it is 2016, but she's definitely someone to keep your eye on. She's a fantastic guitarist, she has some amazing riffs and licks, and her voice is just incredible. So she is definitely someone to keep your eye on. Hot tip number 1. My very, very top of the hot tip hit list for 2016 music-wise is going to be the band Evarose. There they are, right there. They are my hot tip because they've released 2 EPs so far and a handful of other songs, and in 2014 and 2015 they were kind of MIA. And no one knew what happened to them. There was word that they were recording a debut, and then they went completely off the radar. No one heard anything from them. Recently, only a couple of weeks ago, Imogen Leslie, the guitarist of Evarose, posted online that she was listening to tracks and demos from their debut, and she said Evarose are definitely alive and kicking in 2016. And we've had various tweets that follow in the same vein from Danica and Connie and Robin. So I'm very, very hopeful, seeing as they are alive and kicking. They've done some special stuff for the fans, they've been working on the debut, and it's been so long, I want to hear this debut album so bad, and I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, a couple of years ago there was a new song called Quicksand. There was a video of them playing it live. It was a bad quality video, but the song still shone through. So when this album comes out, which again, no news on it on a release date, but hopefully, again, fingers crossed, that it is going to be this year, do keep your eye on them because they are incredible, fantastic. On to my 5 hot tips for films in 2016. Tip number 5. For films, my 5th hot tip is going to be a film called The Boy. It's coming out in the UK in February 19th, I believe. The film The Boy, it's a horror movie. I'm a big horror movie fan. It's got Lauren Cohen in it, who plays Maggie in The Walking Dead, so any Walking Dead fans, go check the film out, it looks great. Basically, it's about Lauren Cohen's character comes to England, and she meets this kind of aging couple who says, you know, we want you to be our nanny, can you take care of our little boy? So she says yes, and she gets introduced to the boy, but it turns out the boy is a doll. She starts laughing and is like, haha, yeah, okay, now show me the real kid, and they're like, don't laugh at our kid. They think it's real. They think, and it looks like ventriloquist dummy style, and I hate those kind of dolls, so it's going to be very creepy. They leave for a bit and they give her a bunch of rules to follow, and as has happened in horror films, she just disregards them all and shit goes down. It's going to be great. It's still going to be creepy because of the doll, and it's still going to be great because of Lauren Cohen. There's nothing not to like about this film. So remember, February 19th, get yourself down to cinemas to see The Boy. Hot tip number 4. My 4th hot tip is going to be Finding Dory. Now, we are a generation of Disney and Pixar and DreamWorks films, and they've had some really incredible ones, and one of them has definitely been Finding Nemo. So to have a film like Finding Dory, I mean, I don't know much about it apart from Dory obviously goes missing and they're gonna have to find her. If it's even half as good and half as intense as Finding Nemo, it's gonna be great. So when you get down to cinemas to see it, I think it's coming out in spring, summertime. Kick all the small kids out the way that have watched Finding Nemo, that weren't alive when Finding Nemo came out, because they don't know. They don't deserve it. They haven't earned Finding Dory. Tip number 3. My third hot tip is going to be Suicide Squad, which has a ton of hype around it. I'm excited to see Suicide Squad because it's gonna be so radically different from all the other superhero movies we've seen. It's like the anti-superhero, but it's not Batman. I mean, there's been tons of films, all that, you know, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, freaking Ant-Man, for crying out loud. And then we've got tons of sequels, and then we've got prequels to the sequels, but still a sequel to the first one, then more prequels, and then a couple of years later, let's just forget about those films and then remake them all again. And it's just been nothing but superheroes. I mean, superhero movies are great, but at the end of the day, it's like, we need new ideas. Stop recycling old ones. And Suicide Squad, I think, has done that. Also, it's my third hot tip because it has Margot Robbie as Harlequin. You don't understand. You don't understand. Hot tip number 2. My second hot tip for films is The Huntsman Winter's War. I'm not sure if it's a sequel or a prequel. I think it might be a prequel to Snow White and Huntsman, which was a fantastic film. Absolutely slayed me. Kristen Stewart stepping out of the Belle role and absolutely owning the Snow White role. She's not in this one, just to point out to any Kristen Stewart fans out there. This is got Chris Hemsworth in it as the Huntsman again. It has Charlize Theron, it has Emily Blunt, it has Jessica Chastain. So it's got a absolutely stellar cast. I think just for the cast you should go watch it, but it's also a prequel sequel thingy to an incredible film. Hot tip number 1. My very hot hit list tip for 2016 for films is Lazer Team. Lazer Team is a film, it's kind of a comedy sci-fi movie, and it's made by the people at Rooster Teeth. Now, if there's any of you who know me personally, I love Rooster Teeth. They are incredible and they make brilliant content. Very funny people at Rooster Teeth. Basically, I think it's like an alien spaceship thing crashes. And they find this suit, and the 4 guys each get different parts of the suit, and it turns out they form Lazer Team and they have to do crazy things to save the world. I admit I'm not making it sound very good at all, but I assure you it is. Lazer Team is self-funded and fan-funded, just completely done off their own backs. Go get a ticket because it's gonna be very funny and really cool, and once again, turning back to the superhero theme, it's going to be completely different on that level, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Plus it's got Gavin Free with a mustache and a mullet. Who doesn't want to see that? Alright, my hot tip for TV shows in 2016. I think my 5th hot tip is going to be Peter Kay's Car Share Season 2. Not heard much about it, but we have been told that there will be a Season 2. Peter Kay's Car Share does exactly what it says on the tin. It's Peter Kay, and he's doing a car share with the character called Kaylee, and they go to work together. And just, it's basically what happens to them in their conversations, and it's so simple, and it's set in such a confined space, but it's hilarious, it's brilliant, and to know that they're doing a Season 2 fills my heart with so much joy. Again, not sure on the release date, not sure if they're even filming it, but we have been told that there will be a Season 2, so keep your eyes peeled. Hot tip number 4. My 4th hot tip, I think, is got to be Two Broke Girls Season 5. Now, Two Broke Girls is a very divisive comedy. I'm going to come out and say it. But to say that they've hit 100 episodes and they've hit season 5, I think this is going to run for a long time. It's so different, I think, from other comedies, and especially US comedies. It never fails to make me laugh, and I think it's because of how risky, I think they push it, how far they can go, but they don't push it so far as that it's ridiculously overly offensive. Well, I don't think so anyway, other people might find it different. I'm excited to see what the writers do for season 5, because the end of season 4, while it was funny, storylines were disappointing. They had an Irish character who was he was there for a bit of eye candy, and as you all know, that didn't work for me personally. But his character was so annoying, he detracted from the comedy. So while season 4 was good, there was a lot of downfalls in it. So season 5, now that they've got rid of him, I think they should also get rid of the big storyline with the High. There wasn't a lot of cupcake content, as it were, when a lot of the first 3 seasons did. So what they're going to do for season 5, I have no idea. But now that they've got rid of this whole, this Irish guy, whoever he was, and they've moved out of the High, at least the big main one, and they've gone to the one in the airport, who knows what they're going to do. Because Two Broke Girls, I think, is one of the most unpredictable comedies on TV, and I think that works in its favour. So yeah, I think that's definitely one to keep your eye on, definitely. Hot tip number 3. My third hot tip is going to be Humans season 2. Humans is about basically robots who look exactly like humans and help other humans. They're kind of like servants, really. But there's a very small group that, are very different and have human feelings and emotions. I'm not going to give too much away, so if you've not seen it, do go check it out. It's fantastic. We have been told there's a season 2. Again, we don't know if it's written, we don't know if it's being filmed, and we don't know when, but it is slated for a 2016 release, season 2. Do go check it out. It's fantastic. It's, in our day and age, there's a lot of things where things aren't original, things are remakes, things are sequels and prequels, as I said before. Humans, to me at least, is again wildly different from anything I've ever seen on telly. Hot tip number 2, my second hot tip, is going to be Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 3. I don't know where they're going to go. I mean, the S.H.I.E.L.D. has broken down, Ward's trying to get Hydra back together, and he's crazy, and then there's the Inhumans, and Skye is now Daisy, and she can quake things. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I don't know how to explain Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I fell in love with it from the very first episode. It's incredible. This season is going to be make or break for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think. And if they pull off something spectacular, it's going to be fantastic, because the first 2 seasons were incredible. Blew each other out of the water, really. So season 3, I think, is make or break, but from what I've seen of it so far, it's going to be incredible. Hot tip number 1. My hot top tip this 2016 is Red Dwarf 11, Red Dwarf XI, if you want to get Roman numerical about it all. Season 11. And I can't wait for it. Red Dwarf has been around even before I was born, and I've been watching it since I was a kid, and I love it. When it came back, I mean, Red Dwarf, it took a while to find its feet, and then it ran and had incredible episodes. It was hilarious. Like sitcom in space. It was incredible. And then it hit season 8, and a lot of people, I think, find it falling flat and didn't like this element that all the people were back together. And then they did Back to Earth special, which was essentially season 9, and it had a crazy storyline, which I think was great, but there was a lot of people who weren't sure about it. But then again, it got a lot of younger viewers into it, and they really latched onto it, which gave them, a door to open to do season 10. And season 10 was insane. Season 10, it took what made Red Dwarf great and brought it into, into the 2010s, whatever this decade is called. So it was very new, but at the same time it was essential Red Dwarf. And then when they made season 10, I think it was a bit of a shock for everyone that they'd made it new, but they it was still essentially Red Dwarf, and there was so much going on. So, and they're doing a season 11 now, and they're also filming season 12, which is going to release in 2017. So my tips for 2017, it's already got Red Dwarf 12 on it. So, but yeah, so once again, anything could happen. But all the main cast are there, and all the writers are there, and they're so on it. And I cannot wait to see what they pull out the bag. But I think whatever it is, I mean, even when people think it was falling flat, it was still, you know, beating all the other comedies off the top spot for me, even when maybe it wasn't at its peak. So Red Dwarf for me is kind of like pizza and sex. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. Hopefully that's given you some ideas of things to look forward to. I hope you didn't think I was rambling. I do, so it's fine if you did. But no, definitely check out those bands, those music and TV shows, films. Yeah, so I hope you're looking forward to them as much as I am, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of 2016, and you're definitely going to be seeing more of me, whether you like it or not. Well, if you don't like it, you can click off the video. Please don't do that. Bye! It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously heterosexual.